Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, maybe welcome back to my channel. I'm Lisa. It's been a really long time since I posted on here. I actually meant to look how many years, and I think it's been like 4. And maybe. Things are so different, and a lot of you are on my Instagram and my Facebook, or I guess even on this channel, you notice like I'm changing my name. There's so much changing in my life, and I feel called to come back here. So, welcome back. I'm here. You're here. I hope I hope you have lots of drinks and time because I have no idea how long this video is going to be. You will know before I do. But I just felt like it's been so long since I came on here, and so much is shifting in my life and just in the world. I mean, you probably are feeling that right now. And I just wanted to catch up. I wanted to share with you kind of like what's been going on in my life, as well as kind of like take a walk down memory lane and do a review of like what my pole story is and where it's going, because I've done one video similar to this before, and it was kind of just touching on like my childhood and my background and kind of like how I got started first in pole dance, not really highlighting anything particular. So that's what I want to do today, is kind of like walk you through some of the highlight reel and see which things you resonate with, because maybe some of you are going to be new here that are going to watch this video. Maybe some of you have been here for a long time. If you have, thank you. I appreciate you. I honestly think about you often, and every time I get a comment from one of you that says, "Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for you to make a video for so long," when I, unlock a video that I realize I had locked down, it really touches my heart, and I'm grateful for you. You are the reason why this channel still exists and why I haven't gotten rid of it, because some of you on here made me want to get rid of it. Oh, my light just went out. Okay, here we go. We're gonna have regular lighting because I realized I forgot to charge my ring lamp. Oh well. Okay, so as I said before, if you're new here, hello. My name is Lisa. I'm shifting from Lush Lisa, which I have gone by for now, oh my god, it's been over 7 years. And that's going away. That's gone. That girl is no longer here. You can probably even tell. I haven't changed my hair color. I have like orange hair now. It's awesome. I'm really enjoying it. It's only been like a week though. And I'm really embracing this like more luminous life. I'm really like, if you are on my Instagram, you notice I'm like really resonating with the phoenix right now. It's just, I feel like I'm coming out of the ashes. And I'm about to just like have so much energy coming out of me because I've been having it locked down for so long, and I can't do that anymore. It just won't let me. It's just not going to let me. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We're talking about my story. I tried writing like some notes, but it's a long list and I don't really know where to begin, so we're just going to begin. So, if you have not already watched that previous video, then I will put the link in the description box so that you can watch, like, it would have been in 2015 that I made my first, like, about me video, and I watched it just, like, a few minutes ago, and it was rough. Like, I was still pretty uncomfortable vlogging, so I feel like it took a long time for me to really, like, embrace talking to myself on the camera like this. But I did share a lot about just like old stuff that I won't go over on this video, so definitely recommend checking that out. But if you are curious, like the exact reason why I did start pole dance, I think that's a good place to start. There is a story that I don't think I'm going to share it on this video. Thought about it, but I had a lot of trauma from right whenever I went into my womanhood. I had sexual trauma from a past partner, and that really left my self-esteem shattered. Like, it just, it caused so many problems in my life that I was very lost from the get-go. And then as I continued on, I realized how much more lost I ended up being because of that event, or that time in my life, I will say. So because of my lack of self-esteem, because of all of that going on, I was dying to find a way to like just get back to me. And I found pole dance, and that totally changed everything. Like it healed me in so many ways. There's other things I had to do to heal as well, but that like inner stuff, that really heart shattering feeling and like gut like punching of abuse, was really healed through the process of pole dancing. So that's why it's been over 10 years now since I started pole dancing, and it's still so near and dear to my heart, and it's still something I go to when I need that again. And here we are. It's, 2020. I think I started in 2010. And even after breaks, it's still like the thing that I come to whenever I need to work on my self-esteem, to feel me, and to like really let myself out. So that's where it all began. I might one day make the full video of like the exact story of that traumatic event. But I'm not ready to share that on the internet yet because there's still a lot of trolls on my channel, and I can't deal with those comments. But I have shared with many of my students like my story, and I always feel like it helps, so I want to at least allude to it. All right. Yeah, so that's kind of where I began. I'm looking at my notes so that I know where I'm gonna start. When I started pole dance, I started in Tampa, Florida at a pole studio that used to be called Rockin' Body, and I think now it's called Brandyland. So I actually like saved some photos and like found some old school stuff to show you, because instead of making you like go to my Facebook or my Instagram and be like, go check it out, and you have to like scroll for like 20 minutes, I just figured I would show you some memories so we can just do this together. When I started at Rockin' Body, oh my gosh, these were my first pair of heels. Oh, they were baby heels. I see beginners now starting on like what my like advanced heels are. So they were like 5-inch like spikes, and yeah, I used to own them up until like a month ago, and then they broke, so now they're gone. I loved it there. I was really in love with Rockin' Body. I felt really welcomed by their instructors right from the beginning, and I did really well because of my gymnastics background. So I used to like love performing. Like this is super old performance on actually my old channel. So there's a lot of videos that are not on the uploads list on this channel because this channel didn't exist from the beginning. I had it on a different channel, which like naming issues were going on. So I have those videos in a playlist called Performances on this channel so that you can watch them. So if you have not watched those and you want to see like super old Lisa or super young Lisa pole dancing, then I definitely recommend checking those out. I like to watch them because I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought that performance was so badass, and I literally did like 3 things the whole time, and I did a lot of walking in a circle, and it was great, and I'm so glad I did it because then I got more and more used to performing. So yeah, that's where I started. I started in Tampa at Rockin' Body, and I did that for a year, taking classes, probably like 3 days a week. I was obsessed. That's all I wanted to do, but I think that's all I could go to for that beginning time. And then I started teaching after a year. So I started teaching, I think my first class, what was it? I remember I took over for Madeline, and I think it was a trick class maybe, but if not, it might have been Floorwork. Maybe it was Floorwork because I love Floorwork. And it was so great. It really felt like I was stepping into my purpose, because if you know me from anywhere, you know how much I love teaching people anything. It could be anything. I'm teaching you guys pole right now, but I have channels that are teaching like yoga or like life stuff. Like I am so into teaching, so that was such a fun way of integrating a thing that I really love doing and something that I was really enjoying learning also. And it's been an obsession of mine ever since then. So after I started teaching at Rock and Body, I taught there for a year. I don't think I have really any stuff to show on that. No. Oh, I'll show you this like throwback like performance time from Halloween. Oh my gosh, this is like so old. Oh my gosh. Doesn't look anything like that anymore. I don't think there's pink walls anymore. After I taught for like a year, oh, actually, no, I wanted to show you. I remember my big like stepping into my teaching world was they had a Don Curry photo shoot, and I was so excited because these are super old Don Curry photos. He's probably like leveled up in so many ways by now on like his editing. I see like super cool edits now. But that was like such a monumental moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I have moves that I can do, and I want to get a photo shoot. And I split it with my friend because I was Poe. And oh gosh, this is our little doubles picture. Oh my gosh, so old. Okay. That was a really big deal. And after 2 years of pole dancing, I was so it had taken me over so much that I knew I needed to open my own studio. So I did. So I opened a studio 2 years into pole. I was living like 45 minutes away from my studio, so like it was very advantageous for me to have my own, like, you know, in my backyard. And it was called Lush Pole Fitness. I will never forget that time. It was so important to me, and I'm still sad to this day the fact that it's not open anymore. But like I made my own shirts. I literally hand like cut those lettering out, and this is probably the first picture I could find in my studio. I had purple walls, purple everything. I was obsessed with cheetah print apparently and zebra print. I only noticed that when I like went through my feed, and I was like, wow, I really guess I really like those, and now I like don't wear that at all. So everything shifted. I wear a lot of butterflies now, I notice, and like, yeah, very earthy stuff. I was really into like neon things. Oh yeah, which speaking of neon, I started teaching twerk when I opened my studio, and I had a class called Radioactive Rump where we would do it in the black light. That was so much fun. I loved teaching twerk that way because everyone was really comfortable with everything shaking, because you couldn't see anything you didn't want to see shaking. You could only see what you actually wanted to see shaking. That was a very good hack for any of you teaching twerk. I should recommend that. I also went to pole convention and met people like Samantha Starr, I think her name is. Lithium Kitten, I forget her name. And that was a big deal. And then I started doing performances. This is my first like performance for my studio with my old friend May. I lost that friend in the process, but it was very good friendship while it was there. So many things happened. Okay. I told you about that. Went to pole convention, did a lot of performances. After I opened my studio, I was really comfortable with performing, so I did do a lot of performances. Another performance that I did was at Nude Night, and these are with some of my girls. That was really cool. Oh my gosh, my old friend Shelly. Whoop. She was so badass. So Nude Night in Tampa is like a art show celebrating nudity. There's a lot of body painting and like nude art, like painted nude bodies or performances. There's a lot of like pole dancers and aerialists that go to it. And that was like a big deal for me because I was really uncomfortable with like the idea of nudity, which as you can see, we weren't even nude in that picture. But it just like embraced the body there, and it made me a lot more comfortable with my body and with how like your body is like a temple. Like it can be beautiful, and nudity doesn't mean like raunchy necessarily. It's like nudity can be very sensual and like appreciating the body. So that was a big part of my journey too. I'm just blowing through these. I really couldn't think of a better way to do this. So if this is boring, sorry about that. You can totally skip it. I will be coming out with more videos, like actually teaching stuff, but I needed to at least catch you up before I started over again. What else did we do? I got a tattoo. So after a year of teaching in my studio, it was like really embracing. I'm a Scorpio, hardcore. So I've always resonated with the Scorpio side of me, and ironically also just was super bendy in my back and always doing very scorpion-like poses. So I felt like that was kind of my icon or my signature, if you will, in pole. And I just always loved seeing like pole dancers that I could recognize, even if I couldn't see their face, by their tattoos. And I wanted one so bad, and there happened to be a tattoo guy 2 doors down from my studio who gave me a great deal, and I got this giant scorpion tattoo on my side, which now is kind of funny that I feel like I'm gonna have to like upgrade and like add more to it, because I watched a video yesterday about like Scorpios go through like phases of like a scorpion, an eagle, and a phoenix. I did not know this until yesterday, and then it like totally like, oh my god, blew my mind, because I realized I have been out of the scorpion phase for a few years now, and I guess in this eagle phase we've just been kind of watching and observing my life, and now that makes sense. And now I've stopped my like self-destructive habits, which is very Scorpio-esque, and I'm really like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Like that's not what I do, and I have a habit now of not doing that. So I'm like so proud of myself, so grateful that not only was I able to regain my self-confidence and build myself up, but then in other areas of life, I was able to create better habits for myself where I took a really long break here. I didn't like beat myself up about it. I realized I needed to focus on some other shit in my life, so I did. And you know what? I got pretty fat. Like I have gained a lot of weight since I stopped pole dancing, and don't feel great about that. But I also gained a partner who is amazing. I feel so much love in my life. I have awesome cats that have kind of just added up over time. I have 4 now. I moved states, which has been like a lifelong dream to like do more traveling, and that happened. So yeah, so anyways, now I'm really stepping into that like very Phoenix version of a Scorpio. So if you have ideas of how to add some Phoenix energy to this, send me some pictures on Instagram or tag me in some. Okay, what else happened? After I get my tattoo, it's kind of like the peak of my time at Lush Pole Fitness Studio, and it was, you know, like when you're in that time, like that golden age, like that's what it felt like at that time. And I got to perform at an event and got to meet Cleo. So here's me and Cleo. I even actually started writing some blogs for her for a little while. I have no idea if they still exist or if they're on her website still, but I was a blogger for Cleo's Rock and Pole for like 6 months. That was awesome experience. I realized I don't really care for writing as much as I do for like teaching and talking through my voice. I think I am a good writer, but it's way exhausting for me. especially doing it on like a schedule and stuff. I tried out. Oh my goodness, what in the world? Okay, I tried out some go-go dancing gigs. Oh my gosh, this one was so wild. I'm a terrible go-go dancer. I don't know how I got paid for doing what I did because, I mean, that one I just kind of had to walk around in that outfit, and that was so much easier than some of the other ones I did. But I suck at go-go dancing, so this is not my forte. All of you go-go dancers out there, I applaud you because you make things look so cool and so fun, and it's like, not, I just don't even know how you do it. It's awesome what you do. Oh yeah, and then while I was learning, so kind of rewinding a little bit, I learned at Rock and Body for that like first year and a half, 2 years, um, while I was learning and teaching. But then I also one of my instructors started her own studio, which many of you may know is Sarah Jade from Buttercup Pole Dance, and I actually ended up shifting there after I started my studio. I went and learned at Buttercup Pole Dance pretty much throughout my whole practice, and I learned so much cool stuff from her. Sarah is amazing, and I dream of being as strong and bendable as her one day, and I miss going to classes there now that I'm not around, and even whenever I was around, I missed going to her classes. So this is like at Buttercup Pole Dance. I did some performances there and learned so much stuff. Oh my gosh. I miss these classes. I miss that pole, miss that green wall. This is the old studio before they moved to the giant one. I actually haven't been to the giant one that they're in. Yeah. What else did I do? Part of my story. Yeah, we're running through this pretty good. Okay. Another part of my story is that I started planning a lot of events for my studio. So I loved the feeling of building up confidence and being able to showcase it. So I planned showcases at my own studio and love teaching my students how to like make up their own routine and kind of like come up with their own costume, and so good. I don't know how to do that online yet. I feel like I've been seeing some like Zoom performances. I haven't actually attended one yet for some reason, but I feel like it's not quite the same. So if you have like ideas or feedback on like Zoom performances that you've loved and like reasons why you love them, please tell me below, because I feel like that's going to come, but it's like that's a little bit down the line, so I have some time for ideas. One of my favorite performances that I planned at my studio was Superhero Social, I think it was called, something like that, for Halloween, and I dressed up as Miss Marvel. Oh my gosh, it's totally blowing out the light. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that was so much fun. This was my students at Superhero Social. They had so much fun. That was my favorite one. I had a few. After that, whenever, I don't remember why I started this. You kind of go through phases where you start to get bored with stuff. And you're like, okay, I need to mix it up. I need to do something new. If many of you have watched my previous video, I was a gymnast growing up. So there's like pole is not really like my initial love. Just in general, acrobatics is my initial love. So I always wanted to try some aerial stuff. So one birthday, I went and tried aerial, and actually I think this video is one of the more viewed videos on this channel. I have no idea why, because it's like a minute long. But that was a lot of fun. Oh God. And then as I was still teaching, I was doing a lot of videos on this channel, and many of you are probably here actually because of this video right here. This video kind of went like semi-viral, and I ended up with like a shitload of random followers because I'm shaking my ass on the internet. And that actually is probably where this channel started kind of like trickling off, because I ended up with so many like weird comments, so many rude comments. And I remember when was this? yeah, so this would have been in 2015. I think it took like a while to go, like, to kind of like really pick up speed, and it just was like really going crazy after 6 months. 6 months after this video came out, I had actually closed my studio, and I had to move back home with my mom, which sucked. But I was there, and I was at least trying to do vlogs here, and these like trolls were just like trolling these twerk videos, and I remember being in my mom's kitchen. I was like reading some of the comments, like kind of moderating them, and I just broke down and cried. I like was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, they're just so rude. I feel so disgusting. Like, I wanted to twerk so that other like girls or guys that were actually interested in twerking lessons and like learning how to dance and like can appreciate twerk dance were gonna be here to like just absorb it and like learn from it. And I love teaching it, so I wanted to share it. And instead, I just have like all these like weirdos commenting like horrible things. Like, if you're here and just admiring the feminine form and you are respectful about it, you're welcome here. Like, I'm not gonna kick you off. But if you're gonna be like disgusting and pretty much like say stuff to me that you wouldn't say to your sister or to your mother, then just leave, please. Because I don't want to have to moderate those comments anymore. I know I'm gonna have to. I've accepted that. It's taken years to get past that mental trauma. Just so you know, that's like very traumatic. Like, don't do that to people. Anyways, yes. So then I closed my studio. This was my last day. My studio. I could literally cry still right now if I thought about it a lot, but I'm not going to. I closed because honestly, I worked the studio as hard as I could for 2 years, and I was only paying the bills for the studio. I was having to work full time to take care of myself. Um, yeah, and that was just my story back then. I don't know if that's true for everyone. I felt like at that time, the people I ended up talking to who also had studios pretty much told me that was the reality of owning a studio, and that sucks. I really hope that changes for everyone who is a studio owner and that the industry becomes more profitable. But that's how it was back then. And that's probably why I will never own another studio again, because that was heartbreaking. It was my like first child is how I look at it, because I put so much love and energy into it that literally I feel like it literally took that energy that it takes to birth a child and made it into a studio form. And closing that was like losing a child. So that is probably why I became quiet for a long time, because there was a lot of healing that I needed to do. I really tried continuing for a while. Like I said, I closed it. Um, I actually started pole dancing outside. This was at my ex-boyfriend's property. I would just like find anywhere and everywhere that I could pole outdoors. But it's not the same outdoors. And I had to do that because I had literally moved into a shed in my mom's backyard because I didn't want to live in the same house as her. I need my space. And then I would teach in my friend's house. This was my friend's house. We made little performance videos at her house. Oh, I even took a road trip with one of my students to Canada. This is at one studio in Canada. That was a fun experience. That girl is really advanced. I think her name is Catherine Zeta. And yeah, I actually started getting more into yoga, so I practiced so many handstands. You all probably saw me practice so many handstands. And then I attempted to make videos on here. So you've probably seen a lot of these videos with me in this little outfit. I don't know why I felt like I needed to wear that. It was so uncomfortable. I ended up giving it to a girl, like a friend of mine who is a mermaid. it fits her much better. It is not very good for pole dancing in. But I really wanted to like have like really professional looking videos, and that was like my best attempt at doing that. I'm gonna be honest, the next videos that you're gonna see from here are not gonna look like that. They're gonna probably be me in like sweatpants a lot and in my very messy little tiny townhome that I ended up having to move to. So whatever. I'm gonna still teach you the things that I have in here from here so that you can do the best in your practice. Yeah, see, this is me in my mom's garage. I ended up taking a couple of the poles from my old studio and installing them in her garage. This is my mom. I actually still teach her. So I've been teaching her, my aunt, a couple of my boyfriend's family members, some pole, and I'm really enjoying just the simplicity of it. Whenever I was living in my mom's house, I was working. I would come home, like, this is probably 11, 12 o'clock at night because I was working as a catering manager, and I would just practice pole and then teach in my dress that I was still wearing from that day, because if I would have taken it off, I probably would have passed out on my bed. But during those days it seemed hard, but now looking back, I'm glad that I had that time to just kind of like reset and see what stuck, because some things I thought would have stuck didn't, and then some things that I didn't expect to stick are still around. Yeah. So that was still over 4 years ago, and there's like a giant gap in my pole story, which is why I wanted to like come on here and tell it anyways. Because after that all happened, I moved on to a sailboat. And I thought I was never going to come back to pole, because honestly, I thought I was going to be sailing around the world, living on some nice beaches, and, maybe teaching yoga, if anything. But that didn't happen. I lived on my sailboat for almost 2 years. There was no way to really pole on the sailboat. I mean, there was this like little playground that this is probably like the first week I lived there, and I was like, oh, I could practice on here, like, during the weekend. And then one of my friends happened to have a weird random pole in the middle of his like living room area of the boat. But that was it. Like, there was no way to practice pole, so I stopped, and that's where I kind of put pole on pause for a long time. And that's where my story of what I was telling you about with meeting the partner that I'm with now, honestly fixing a lot of my heartache and other like personal issues and development that I needed to focus on, that took over my life for the last like 3 to 4 years. Technically, I did buy a pole about a year and a half ago, like a year and a few months ago. And this was like the one time I like practiced in my apartment. So I had moved back onto land, and I had gotten a 9-to-5 job, and I was just trying to like reestablish some roots and stuff. But then I didn't practice. It took me like that whole year. I might have practiced like 2 or 3 times. I just wasn't feeling it, and that sucks, because I really wanted to do it. But I noticed that I am such a teacher that if I don't like have something to teach, then I don't really get motivated. I don't know if any of you are like that, or if anyone can relate to that, but like that's what drives me. If it's not new to me, like, at least. So like if it's new, then I'm like, oh, I want to learn this because I want to probably teach it. That's kind of why I learn stuff, because I love teaching. That just has how I do stuff. So I didn't have anyone to teach. And the times I did practice were when people came over and they're like, oh, teach me something on the pole. And I'm like, oh yeah, of course, here. But if I didn't have somebody to teach, then I just wouldn't do it. So hence why we need this channel, so that I am motivated to do it again. I did, after a year of having that pole, so this is last year, 6 months ago, I did move states, and whenever we moved, I did have a room specifically for polling, and I do feel like that helped, because it felt like a little mini studio for me. And this was my little mini studio. Oh, so cute. Okay. And then COVID happened. Well, actually, it happened like while I was moving, and that was super stressful. And then lots of other stuff happened, and I actually lost my job this summer, and then I actually had to move after only 3 months of living in that home. So now I'm in this little townhome that we're in for the next 9 months. And I've been teaching um, from my like dining room, and I did some WAP dance. This was a couple months ago after teaching a girl for like 7 or 8 weeks, and that made such a big change. Like it reactivated me because I saw how much I missed it. I saw how much I had to offer, and she learned so much. I taught her so much shit in 7 weeks. She doesn't even know. But now she had to go back to work because it was during like the weird COVID like layoff time period that a lot of people dealt with. And now I don't have her to teach, but I do have a couple students that I'm teaching a couple nights a week, and I just want to teach more. So here we are. Here's my channel. I needed to like just clean the slate. I needed to get rid of Lush because it just had so much baggage with it. It had too much emotional ties still to the past, so that I needed to just wipe it clean so I could go into the future. And I posted a phoenix earlier today and dyed my hair bright orange, and now we're here. So that's my whole story up to this point, and I am going to say I'm gonna do my best to post videos every weekday, because it will make me practice, it will make me teach, it will make me show you all things that I haven't taught on here before. And yeah, and then if you like what you're seeing, then you want to learn more and you want to like have classes or one-on-ones, then you can message me on Instagram. I will put all of the links to stuff down below. But in the meantime, because like I have so much curriculum that I can share, like I have a year's worth of beginner stuff that I can share, a year's worth of intermediate stuff, and a year's worth of advanced, which I won't be teaching right now because right now my invert sucks. And I gotta build that back up. But if there's things that are beginner or kind of like beginner intermediate that you have been wanting to learn and you have enjoyed my lesson videos before and you want me to kind of like bump up on the list, then please comment below, because then I will do them, because I'm going to be teaching and practicing them throughout the week. So, okay, thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing. If you are interested in pole videos and learning pole and just connecting with me and my story of pole. And thanks for staying if you have been subscribed for a really long time and waiting for me to just kind of resurface. Like I said, just kind of raising from the ashes. And if you did like this video and you like this kind of like sit down and chat type of video, then give it a thumbs up so I know that you will actually watch it, because I'm curious to see how long most of you actually made it on this video, because I tend to be long-winded, and that's okay. That's just me. All right, I'm going to end this here, and I will see you probably tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a super, super, super basic, like, intro to pole, little, like, tutorial that I always used to teach in my studio. So that way, if you have somebody that's, like, new to pole or, like, wanting to get into pole and, like, even just has, like, a pillar that they can just kind of, like, hold on to, then it will give them, like, an idea, a little flavor testing of everything. So I will do that tomorrow. I will see you then.